Well, hello everyone and welcome back to another theme park obsession video. My name is Dylan and thank you so much for tuning back into the channel. As you can see, it's another walk and talk video here at the beach, my home away from home. And today I wanted to talk about some predictions for D23, and I'm going to be also joined by a couple friends. So we're going to talk about that, see what's going on in the rumor mill, and hope that some of these things that we talk about today actually come true. So how about you and I dive right in. Yeah, D23 is coming up here very, very soon. August 10th is the Parks and Resorts presentation. It's a 90-minute presentation featuring Josh tomorrow. He's going to be up there talking about all of the latest, and the presentation is called Horizons. So they're going to be talking about things that are on the horizon and beyond. And I'm hoping that it's not a lot of blue sky this year, because last year and the year before, it's just been a lot of blue sky and not anything concrete, which has been pretty frustrating in the community, not just the Disney community, but the theme park community. So as it's approaching, I'm hoping that the tone this year is a lot different. It's been rumored that this D23 is going to be very, very big. There's going to be a lot of crazy announcements, and I'm hoping some of these crazy announcements come true. And another interesting thing about this year's presentation is it's not being held in the Anaheim Convention Center. It's actually being held at the Honda Center, and they're selling tickets for this thing, which are all sold out. You can't get any more tickets, but it is a paid presentation, which is kind of annoying, but that also leans into the rumor of this being a lot more of a spectacle and a lot more of a big deal, not just for the people attending, but for the Walt Disney Company. This is going to be a big, big moment. But enough about all that. Let's meet up with some friends and talk about some rumors. I already met up with Katie and Spencer from Best Life and Beyond. Hello.
Hello.
Oh yeah. I figured if we're going to talk about Disney, gotta have Katie and Spencer in the mix to talk about all the rumors and speculation.
Oh, there's so much, man. D23. Are you ready?
I don't know.
I'm not ready.
I have to say, Spencer's not ready. I don't even think I'm ready for this.
No, it's crazy. Like, there's just so much that we don't know and so much that has not happened in the last, several years. So this is kind of like a make it or break it year.
Yeah.
I truly think, this is going to, especially with Epic Universe.
Yep.
I feel like that is the major thing that's if Disney doesn't step up their game, I don't know.
So what you're saying is that so much hasn't happened that something has to happen.
Yeah, in a roundabout way.
I'm with that.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to kind of sum it all up there.
Yeah. And so what we're going to do, I think the easiest way to get through this, it's going to be a little bit of a long video, not super long, but 20 or 30 minutes. I think the easiest way to do this is to go resort to resort,
Okay.
park to park. And I think we're going to start off with our home parks here in California, the Disneyland Resort. And we're going to go over what we think they're going to announce. And by the way, go ahead and comment down below what all of your thoughts are on all this. I'd love to know. But yeah, that's how we're going to do today's video. So yeah, let's just dive right in to Disneyland.
I love diving right in. That was so fun to be on the dive right in.
Okay, so the Disneyland Resort. We just got some new stuff not too long ago, and we're about to get some more new stuff. Tiana's Bayou Adventure is about to open this year.
Yeah, and when is that? So we still don't have a date for
We don't have an
Disneyland.
official date, but it's rumored to open sometime in the fall or winter.
Okay, so when it's freezing cold.
When it's freezing cold, yeah.
That'll
Yeah.
be our
That makes the most sense,
Yeah.
honestly. I feel like, that's the craziest thing that I keep thinking about with Tiana's Bayou Adventure is how we're not going to get to ride it as often in California. In Florida, it's always warm and hot. Not so much here in Cali.
I'm definitely sitting back seat on Tiana's Bayou Adventure most of the time.
Oh yeah, and you don't want to have a heavy log.
Yeah, no, that's you get soaked on that.
Oh, yeah.
On that ride. So
it's gonna be crazy.
Yeah, so I think that they are going to brush up on Tiana's Bayou Adventure because the presentation is on August 10th, which I believe will be before the attraction will open. So I think they're going to waste some time talking about that.
That's true.
And remember, the presentation, again, is only 90 minutes. And we do know that there's going to be some fluff in there. So, shows.
Yeah, you got to have Tomorrow out there
Yeah. And
what does he do?
Well, what he has done in the past, it's he has to act a little bit and pretend whoa, did you hear that? What is that? And then somebody's cueing the fog machine from backstage and cue the superhero to come out. I don't know.
It's a little
but that's just how they do it. They try to make it fun. I get it. But,
There's
We-
going to be some flaws.
We kind of look forward to those parts because we like to be critical about those things. Anyways,
It's true.
It's
Yeah.
funny. I think it's great too. So for sure, I think they're going to talk about Tiana's Bayou Adventure,
Yeah.
and yeah, that's a 5-minute segment in itself.
For sure. I also think we're going to get a lot of 70th.
70th, yep.
That's
Oh.
a huge thing that's coming.
Yep.
So I feel like that's going to take up a good chunk of time for Disneyland. The Disneyland Resort,
Yep.
Disneyland DCA, is 70th. What's
Yep.
going to happen? Are they bringing back Paint the Night?
Well, I would hope so, and I think what they're going to talk about for the 70th is a new fireworks show and a new parade. As far as the 70th goes, I think that's about it.
That's a fair assessment. Yeah, we'll get some merch. We'll get.
Yeah.
Do you think though? Because the last big celebration we had was the 60th, and arguably, Diamond Celebration was. I mean, I would get it tattooed on my butt. It was that great. Do you think it
Tell
will
us how you really
compare- it's the facts. It's the facts. It gave us Paint the Night. But how do you think it will compare to the 60th?
I think it'll be very similar to the 60th.
Okay.
I don't think anything will top the 50th. I think the 50th
The
was
50th
epic.
was so good. I would also
Yeah.
that would be on one cheek. 60th would be on the other.
anyways,
Yeah, what do you
back to
think, Spencer?
Disneyland. No, I hope that it matches the 60th at the very least.
Me too.
Do you know what
Yeah.
I mean?
It
Yeah,
was
I
a
agree.
good time.
I think it's going to match the 60th, and I think that's what they're going to talk about as far as like Disneyland specific things.
Right.
I don't know if we're going to get Tomorrowland news. We may or may not. I'm leaning towards maybe a blue sky idea that they're never going to get to. Like that.
Yeah.
My
It's-
phone just went off because it was reacting to
It
that.
was reacting.
It was like ding.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Somebody
funny.
heard me.
Yeah.
I don't think we're gonna get anything either. I hate to agree with you.
The
but
reason I think I agree with you is because we haven't heard any rumor leaning towards it because we're getting closer to D23. You start
Yep.
to hear things, and you start to lean towards things of you know,
Yep.
it's
we
gonna.
haven't heard anything.
We haven't heard anything, and maybe that's a good thing.
Yeah.
And what even would be their blue sky?
Well, maybe the Tomorrowland 2050 idea, 2055 idea they had a long
Oh.
time ago.
Yeah.
I mean, the only really news-related thing we have on Tomorrowland that they might talk about at D23 is the electrification of Autopia. That's been
Jeez.
confirmed by the
Oh,
company.
you're right. That's about it.
Yeah.
So maybe they'll touch on that, or
Yeah.
in true Disney form, just not mention anything about it. Like
Yeah.
that could easily happen.
Electopia.
Electrotopia.
What do you
Electro-
think are the chances of a Tron ever coming to Disneyland?
I think like a 50-50 shot.
Okay.
And I think that Tron would be a really good fit in Tomorrowland.
I
think
completely agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Disneyland needs another thrill ride on that caliber, and I think Tron would be a good fit as long as it doesn't take 5 years to build.
It probably will.
Yeah.
Because it is a
But-
semi-compact situation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not that large in comparison to other rides. Like
Right.
something like
Right.
Cosmic Rewind is huge.
Right. Like how big is that show building for Tron? It's not.
It's
that
not that crazy.
big,
So
right?
that definitely is a possibility, but I don't know if they're going to talk about that kind of stuff at D23. I think they're just going to mention Autopia, and then that's
That'll
going to be it.
yeah.
And I think that is pretty much it for Disneyland. I don't think there's going to
Yeah,
be
'cause-
any surprises there.
I'm trying to think like what could even possibly be a surprise. The only thing that people would like lose their mind over is if they somehow were magically amazing and said, "We're gonna end reservations," but we know that'll
That
never
would be,
that'll never happen.
yeah.
Wishful thinking.
And then we move on to California Adventure. California Adventure, I believe they're going to talk about the Avengers e-ticket ride that they've been talking about since 2019.
What was that? 2019.
I think it's 2019 is
and
when
how
they first.
never did it.
They've never done anything with
Dude,
it.
Avengers Campus.
Garbage.
Honestly, it's
Are we going to
garbage.
start having anniversaries for ideas?
No, really, we should. We should
What's that?
celebrate it. It's
Right?
so
Yeah.
bad though. Like
the 5th anniversary of this blue sky idea that still hasn't manifested.
I want to
Yeah.
know though. Comment below. How do you feel about Avengers Campus as a whole? Do you think it was a success, or do you think it's like we do, like kind of?
I think it's better at night, but overall, I think it's a parking lot.
I would say, thank you.
Yeah.
Like, and that's putting it nicely.
Yeah.
Someone call it a hallway.
Yes,
Yeah.
some would say.
So
some
I
would
think
say.
for California Adventure, they're going to for sure talk about the Avengers e-ticket. And one thing that I think they're going to really brush up on is the Disneyland Forward project, because that just got approved. But remember, the Disneyland Forward project is in a 28-year time span. So they're not going to just
Oh.
push everything out at once. This is
28?
this is a nearly 30-year development. So the approval of Disneyland Forward was not just, oh, we're going to start building new things. It was
Right.
pretty much an approval for the city to be like, you can eventually build new things.
It's as if
Dang.
a sloth was in charge and said,
Yeah.
we're doing Disneyland 4.
It's like Zootopia DMV.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's it.
So
That's not a bad thing. It's just that that's the timeline.
That's the
that's
thing.
just what it is. So I do think they are going to talk about something in the shorter term, and that would be Avatar. It's been mentioned numerous times by Bob Iger before,
Right.
and I think it's going into the California Adventure expansion pads. There's two. There's one in the Hollywood backlot area, and there's also the one in the Simba parking lot. So I think that's where Avatar is going to be going, and I think that's where they're going to be focusing on, at least when it comes to the Disneyland Resort and big giant projects.
Oh, man.
That makes sense. I mean, when I hear it, when you say it, I'm like, oh, that does make sense. I mean,
I just wish they brought Bugs Land back.
She's dead.
I know. I don't want her to be dead. I love Bugs Land.
Yeah.
I miss Bugs Land. It worked better with cars.
It was more immersive than Avengers Campus, arguably.
I would agree. And now, are they going to say... I guess I probably know the answer to this, but about the performers, the performances, like what is the deal with that? That's what I'm curious about, because that's kind of all they had in Avengers Campus, really.
Yeah, do you guys know what happened to Hulk? Where'd he go?
He's gone.
gone.
He came out right after D23, and that was the end of it.
Yeah. It's too stressful. He was going to get mad, and he just had to leave.
They said forget it.
Hulk smashed the Avengers e-ticket right idea.
He couldn't get any more reservations.
Yeah,
that was it.
But as far as Disneyland Resort is concerned, I think that's about it. I don't really know.
That's a fair assessment. I can't, I'm kind of going back and forth, and you're right, because the anniversary, it's probably just going to be shows.
Yep, shows for the anniversary, merchandise.
Do you think they'll probably play a song? I have to say, what was it last D23 when they did the...
They'll do an acoustic version of something.
Yeah, the acoustic version, and it was I was kind of like...
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know.
They'll do some acoustic versions of the 70th anniversary song. We'll get some very slight Tomorrowland news when it comes to Autopia.
Right.
I don't think we're going to get... A lot of people are also talking about the World of Frozen coming to Disneyland, but I don't think that is going to happen anytime soon.
I don't either.
I think the big ideas would be Avatar and the Avengers e-ticket, and I think that's it for the Disneyland
And that's
Resort.
true, too, because we rarely get a lot of Disneyland stuff at D23.
Yeah.
It's mostly Disney World and, cruises and stuff now.
Yeah. We don't have a lot of room, so they never really give us much play. So
Yeah. So that's Disneyland Resort. That's what I think is going to happen. That's what they think is going to happen. Let's move on to the next resort here in America, and that would be Walt Disney World. All right, next up, Walt Disney World. What do we think is going to Walt Disney World? Let's start off with Magic Kingdom Park.
Okay.
I think they're going to talk about villains for Magic Kingdom.
100%. Oh, yeah. Like that, I feel like that's got the most hype out of anything, and it's the biggest competition, if you will.
Yep.
For Epic Universe.
And it rhymes with Dylan. Dylan. Sorry.
And I think it would
I think I
be,
could bring to the party right now.
yeah, and I think it would be a great transition from Fantasyland into villains if
I
they
agree.
put
I
it right
agree.
there.
Yeah, that would actually be really cool. It'd be a nice yin and yang, if you will.
It makes
like
sense.
a good contrast, and it does make sense.
Yeah, so I think that the Beyond Big Thunder Mountain project will be talked about heavily for Magic Kingdom.
Right.
And I hope that it's villains. I'm keeping my fingers crossed that it's villains. A lot of other people say different things, and I've also heard rumors of them carbon copying Radiator Springs racers for Beyond Big
I
Thunder
heard
Mountain.
that too.
That's wild.
That
Yeah.
rumor is crazy.
That is
That's so
crazy.
weird.
Although it's kind of interesting.
It's
Very
also
interesting.
like it's something that Disney does. They do that with all their parks.
I mean,
Yep.
arguably, Radiator Springs is really awesome.
Yeah, it's the e-ticket on that end of the park.
Yeah.
So I could see why they would want to, a ride like that at Magic Kingdom.
Oh, yeah.
But on the flip side of the coin, I would hope that they would do something different. That's why I think Villains or Coco might be better fit for that section of the park.
Very true.
Yeah.
I've
So,
been waiting for that Coco ride, man.
oh my God, yeah, they need to do a Coco boat
Yeah.
ride or something that
The colors
we're in
alone.
the afterlife or whatever that is. That would be absolutely beautiful. So I think that's what's going to happen with Magic Kingdom. I don't think anything else is going to be happening to Magic Kingdom. Do you guys think anything?
No, nothing that's sticking out to me. Like, not really.
No, I'm no.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. Moving on to Hollywood Studios. I think at Hollywood Studios, we might be seeing something happen in the animation courtyard where like the Star Wars launch bay area is. It's been kind of sitting stagnant for a while.
Yeah, that's true. I could see that.
Yeah, I don't know what they might announce, but they will probably talk about that section. As far as anything else for Hollywood Studios, I don't think anything huge, just because they just got Galaxy's Edge, they just got Toy
Yeah.
Story Land,
Yeah.
they just got Mickey and Minnie's, and then outside of the property, the Galactic Star Cruiser, I think they're going to reopen that as like a restaurant or something.
Yeah,
Is that the rumor that's going around?
Yep, I think
They've
that's
got
what
to
they're
do
going to talk about.
something, man. Like you have all that space. It's connected there. It
Well,
makes the most sense.
And the advanced theming that's going on in there, you don't want to just like tear that apart.
Yeah.
That is really awesome in there. I've been inside, I can tell you.
Let's say if you haven't checked out their video on the Galactic Star Cruiser, Spencer was able to go into the Galactic Star Cruiser to check it out. And yeah, I mean, it's pretty elaborate in there. So for them to just spend millions and millions of dollars to just have it rot is the stupidest thing ever.
It'd be foolish, truly.
Yeah.
So yeah, I could see them saying something about that, like, hey, these are our plans. Now, when will it happen? I don't know.
Yeah.
But I could see that. That's
But the salvaging would be great. It'd be pivot that thing into something and and let people enjoy it.
Yeah, I think that's at least for Hollywood studios. Moving on to Epcot. Epcot just finished their major transformation, which
do we even call it that? I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, we haven't seen it ourselves.
I've only seen videos and everything, and oh my god.
Well, I haven't even seen the Journey of Water. I think the last time I was out there was with you guys.
For some reason I thought you'd seen it. But
no, I haven't seen Journey of Water or anything. So
you did a Universal
we
last
did,
time. That's why.
Universal.
Okay, that makes sense.
So I think, with that aside, I do think that they are going to continue to talk about Epcot because the harsh reality of Epcot is there's still not that many rides at the park.
There really isn't. Yeah, they've got to figure. You know, a little off topic, but not really. But a dream attraction over at Epcot, for some odd reason, I've always envisioned is like a Wall-E attraction.
Oh,
right? Like, wouldn't that be so cute?
Yeah.
I think we'll definitely hear about the car ride. I can never remember the name.
Test Track.
Test Track.
Yep.
I always want to say Speed Track, but that doesn't make any sense. Like,
same thing.
It does go fast.
Yeah.
Don't go below 50.
Right.
Don't. But yeah, I feel like we'll definitely hear a little bit about that. Maybe they'll give us like some plans and previews more in depth.
There's even spaces left in the pavilion.
Yeah.
I mean, not that they've talked about anything like that, but there's a lot of space over there. So
yeah. I think they're going to definitely talk about that. They'll show more concept art of inside Test Track.
Exactly.
I think Journey into Imagination will be receiving a very large overhaul.
For sure, it has to.
Yeah,
it's been long enough.
Yeah, and
it's been long enough.
Let's be real. Like, we love going to Epcot and enjoying those kind of attractions. Like we are in a category of our own, but the reality is the family from Montana is probably not going to go on Journey into Imagination and go, wow, that was incredible.
Oh yeah, it's not going to blow their mind.
No.
Not at all.
Now there's that one family from Montana who is like screaming at their television right now because they love it, but
yeah,
we're not talking about you.
You guys are an exception, and that's why we love you guys.
Yeah.
But there's the vast majority and that's the reason why the attraction doesn't have a long wait. It's always a walk on. The times that we've all been on it, it's always a walk on. So I do think they're going to keep Figment because Figment does sell a lot of merchandise for the company.
Yeah.
But I think they're going to really do some new stuff in there. I don't think they're going to involve the Inside Out characters. I think they're going to be somewhere else in Epcot. Which I'm thinking they're going to talk about. Remember the old play pavilion that they talked about a couple D23s ago?
Yeah.
Well, I think they're going to bring that idea up again, but with the Inside Out characters in that development as a nod to the old attraction that used to be there, which I believe was the Wonders of Life pavilion.
Okay.
And they might talk about like, health-related things or mental health-related things and use all those characters like the Inside Out characters and, of course, Baymax
to
help
quite brilliant.
Put that,
the edutainment vibe.
Yeah. And that's a good way to put IP in the park because that's all Disney wants to do now is IP.
That's literally everything they want to do.
So I think that's what's going to happen over there. And then Figment receiving some sort of huge renovation. Yeah, we love. I hope they keep Figment. I hope honestly, the day they get rid of Figment, that's when the place burns down.
No, truly, people would riot.
Problem.
It would
gonna riot.
Yeah.
I do have a question though. So, do you remember when they were going to do the Mary Poppins thing, and it was going to be like a whirly around? I don't know what you call it.
Yeah.
What do you think there's a chance they would ever bring, and maybe not there, obviously, but do you think they'd ever bring an emotional whirlwind there because they love to just take the same?
I mean,
is that something you could ever see happening? And them like going, yeah, we're
they
bring
could.
It.
They could as a cheap way to like throw in a flat ride to add
That's
capacity.
what I'm saying. Like throw a little.
Yeah.
Just because they need to add more attractions there. Like, I don't know.
That's definitely a possibility.
I've always wondered.
As far as the rest of Epcot, I think they're done with that. Maybe a new show or something.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I'm crossing my fingers that they talk about this, and I'm hoping that they do. A renovation of Spaceship Earth and I'm talking about a technology upgrade. So
Yeah.
like, let's go in there and throw some magic everywhere, really up the tech in Spaceship Earth, because it's such a cool ride. It's one of our favorites at
It's so
Epcot.
good.
Almost like I think this is what you're saying, like what they did to Alice in Wonderland, where
Yes.
they changed a little bit, but they just kind of enhanced what we,
Yeah.
Snow White, it would be cool.
Yeah.
Absolutely, because that ride.
Yeah, it would actually be cool too if they did the animatronics like they did in Tokyo and everywhere in the Asian parks.
Yeah.
In Frozen, like now that I've seen the differences.
Swap them out. We're gonna go right into the next thing, which is Animal Kingdom.
Oh, there you go.
Woo!
Yeah. And I think with Animal Kingdom, they're going to continue to talk about the Tropical Americas expansion. That's pretty much been confirmed that they
Yeah.
are working on it. We do know that backstage, they're already prepping for the Imagineers to call that their home base so they can work on Tropical Americas. But the plot of land that they have for the trailers back there is very large. So that is telling us that they might do some more things for Animal Kingdom. And I also think that Animal Kingdom will be adding an additional attraction besides the Tropical Americas, and I think that might be Lion King.
Don't.
Whoa.
This is very exciting. Don't mess with my heart. But if that happens, that might be the single best piece of news.
That's
for
long
me.
overdue.
It
Yeah,
is.
it's very
It
long.
For some reason, we
is.
just don't think about it, but
No, you're right.
because there's so many shows that involve Lion King
Yeah.
that we don't have an attraction.
Yeah, I think Lion King is a very big possibility in addition to Tropical Americas. I do wish they would have kept the dinosaurs because their competitor down the road is capitalizing on dinosaurs. So the fact
Yeah.
that Disney doesn't think that they're profitable is stupid.
Yeah, that's crazy to me.
Oh wait,
But-
they do have a lion attraction. I forgot. It's the safari with
Yeah, with the
real
actual
lions, yeah.
real lion.
Yep.
that you're talking about doing like a ride, like animatronics.
Well,
Oh, yeah,
Lion
this-
King, the
like
story.
the movie. I know.
Yeah.
I'm just messing.
Yeah, so I think that's what's going to happen with Animal Kingdom. I think we're going to get a lot more details on Tropical Americas. We might see a surprise announcement of an additional attraction like Lion King or some other ride that does fit the narrative of Animal Kingdom, which I hope they do not destroy. And they're kind of inching towards that with the Encanto attraction that is supposed to be going into the park. So I
Yeah.
hope they do that correctly. But that's pretty much all of Walt Disney World. Aside from the theme parks, maybe a new hotel announcement because Disney loves building those hotels.
Oh yeah, especially in Florida.
Oh yeah. Well, they got the space.
Yep, they have 40 square miles out there. So just a really quick recap. I think Villains Land for Magic Kingdom and maybe Coco. I think some more news for Epcot Test Track.
Yep.
Maybe a Frozen upgrade with those new animatronics, Figment, and the Play Pavilion. And then Hollywood Studios, maybe an expansion into that animation courtyard. And then Animal Kingdom, mainly talking about Tropical Americas and maybe a surprise announcement with Lion King or some other property.
Wow.
I could see that.
Yeah.
I agree with every one of your assessments and predictions.
But moving on, outside of the United States, let's head over to China.
Woo!
Okay, China. In addition to China, we're also going to segue into Disneyland Paris. Might as well knock out Europe as well. But starting out with China, let's do Shanghai Disneyland, the newest Disney park, which, it is the newest Disney park,
Yeah,
opened in
it's the newest.
2016.
Wow.
I think Shanghai Disneyland is going to be getting some serious investment.
Okay.
They just opened up the Zootopia land out there, which is a smash hit.
Yeah, I've heard nothing but great reviews about it. Amazing. I don't follow too much of the international parks aside from like whenever you go, you're probably like the only person I watch and do that. But like the things I've seen, just talk and whatnot, it's like amazing. Zootopia.
Yeah, and it's been crowded all the time, and I think that is an indicator that Disney wants to continue the investment over there. Remember,
For sure.
the Chinese parks, Disney doesn't have to front the entire bill, so that's why I think Disney's going to be focusing a lot on the Chinese parks.
It kind of has a little
Oh.
R&D aspect to it, to where they can play around a little bit and have a
Yeah.
little more liberty
Yep,
for less money, right?
yep. I think a lot of the cash, because remember they did that, we're at $60 billion, we're going to turbocharge or whatever.
Right.
Well, not all the $60 billion is being spent on the parks and resorts. There's only a small fraction of that is being spent on the parks and resorts. But when it comes to China, all of that R&D, I think it's going to be there in China.
Yeah.
And I think what they're going to talk about at Shanghai specifically are two things. One being a possible new roller coaster.
Ooh.
I think a new Spider-Man roller coaster is in development.
Oh my goodness, that'll be a hit.
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
And we saw patents a long time ago of Disney doing this weird, like, swinging kind of coaster thing.
Oh yeah, whatever happened of that.
I think this is it. I think this is what they're working on.
Oh.
Interesting.
Yeah, and the other thing I believe Shanghai is going to be talking about is maybe a larger investment, maybe an expansion of the resort property, maybe more hotels, maybe even another theme park, maybe even a larger downtown Disney district. I think they call it Mickey Town or something out there. But I think there is going to be some very heavy development for
Sounds legit
Shanghai
to me.
Disneyland. Yeah,
That'd be fun.
what do you guys think? Do you think they're going to go all out in China?
I say why not? I mean, especially like you said, the research and development makes the
No,
most sense.
I think they will, and I think that it'll inspire, hopefully, stuff coming back here, because they always
Yeah.
I feel like those parks have upped the ante when it comes to the tech and their presentation.
Yeah.
And we look at stuff and go, like, I want to go on that Pirates over there so bad.
Oh yeah, the Pirates
You know
over
what I
there
mean?
is insane.
So I think they will deliver, and I think it's going to be crazy.
Yeah. And then staying in China, Hong Kong Disneyland. I don't think Hong Kong Disneyland's going to get too much because they just opened up the world of Frozen out there, which is beautiful.
yeah, I've
really
heard,
good job.
again, another thing I've just heard nothing but great reviews about.
Yeah, they might do maybe a Marvel themed attraction next, or maybe an expansion to one of their existing lands. But I don't think really too much is going to be going to Hong Kong just because they
Yeah.
just opened that new.
Right, and
Yeah.
not only that, it's kind of like Disneyland. They almost get the Disneyland treatment a little bit, it seems like. I don't know, maybe it's just my perception, but,
Yeah.
you know.
Shanghai's going to be getting a huge amount of investment there.
For sure.
Oh, we got a flyby.
The chopper!
We're holding
It's-
for the chopper.
Josh Tomorrow flying by.
Hey, Josh, we're talking about you.
Now moving on to Europe, Disneyland Paris. Now Disneyland Paris always gets snubbed, and
Yeah,
Disneyland
they get 100%.
Disneyland Paris, I feel so bad. You know, Disneyland Paris is a beautiful park. I've been fortunate enough to go there as well, and it is stunning. And I wish they would get more new attractions, because Disneyland Park proper, the last new thing I believe for that park was a Buzz Lightyear attraction, but besides that,
Yeah.
they've never received a brand new attraction that's been on the
Yeah.
scale of what we've been receiving or anything like that.
That's pretty crazy
I never
if you
thought
think
about that.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, since the park opened up in the 90s, they've not received a major new attraction.
Now,
Wow,
do you think that's because it's not as pop? Like, you remember when it first opened, it was not well received by Europeans. Do you think
Yeah.
that's a big factor? Whereas in the Asian parks,
I think it
they
was more-
love Disney.
It was more the French that didn't receive it, right? So much.
Yeah,
or-
they
Yeah.
didn't really care for it.
They weren't. But do you think that might be a factor in it? Because it seems like it's still pretty popular.
It might have been a factor back then, but I don't think it
Not
is
so
now.
much now.
Because it was pretty busy when we were there, and I think a lot of
Yeah.
people love Disneyland Paris.
Right.
But here is why I think Disneyland Paris specifically might be getting some major announcements. And I'm talking like on the scale of maybe Star Wars Galaxy's Edge.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
Or on the scale of like Pandora or something. They're going to
wow.
be doing something really big at Disneyland Paris. And here's why. Because Universal is working on a park in Great Britain.
Oh,
I didn't
hear
so
about that.
I didn't hear about that.
Yep, it's going through the final stages of approval from the city and all that kind of stuff.
Which is very close.
Yeah,
in
which
terms
is-
of proximity.
Right.
Yeah, because in the UK, a lot of people will, they'll take the tube over to Disneyland Paris. It's not that far
Right.
of a travel distance to get to Disneyland Paris from the UK. But now that Universal is eyeballing UK for another major theme park resort, Disney, I think, is going to be stepping up their European parks.
It's such a big thing when Disney is responding to Universal, as opposed to it used to be
Yeah.
Disney set that bar, and then other theme parks would seemingly kind of respond. And what a time to be alive where Universal is setting the bar. In my opinion,
Yeah.
I'm a Disney girl. I love everything Disney. I can't even ride 90% of the attractions at Universal. But you got to be honest with yourself. Universal's like, they're laying the cards out. They're setting the stage, and Disney seemingly, just like you said, they're kind of responding to it.
Oh yeah, going back to Florida really quick. Remember, Pandora was the answer to the Wizarding World of Harry Potter
Right,
expansions.
Right.
So, and that's just, with Epic Universe on the horizon. Yeah, Disney's got to be making some moves here. They're in trouble.
They really are. I 100% agree with you. I like. It's sad to see, but in a way, it's also kind of cool because, like you said, as we the customers, we're getting to see their competition.
Well, we will receive the benefit of
Thank you. Yeah.
the competition
Yep.
because they're going to have to answer back,
Right.
Yep.
and we'll be like, where do we line up for the answer back?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They'll be right.
As the consumer, we will consume all of it.
Right.
We win at the end of the day.
Yes.
Let them fight. It's like that scene in Godzilla where he's like, let them fight.
Right.
Yeah, like that's totally what it is. But for Disneyland Paris proper, I think that's what's going to happen there. The Studios Park, which is now called, I hate the name, it's Disney Adventure World.
Oh, I didn't even know it was
Whatever.
called that. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Just throw a couple random key
Right.
phrases in there. It'll work.
Yeah. So I think that park will be receiving also. There was a lot of rumors saying that the Lion King expansion was going to go there too. So I'm thinking either they're getting the Lion King expansion, or maybe it might be Animal Kingdom.
Animal Kingdom.
Yeah.
Animal Kingdom.
Yeah.
Because in Paris, remember, Disney has to front most of the bill out there
Okay.
because they properly own the Disney parks out there in Europe. But the Studios Park, I think, will just be finishing up their Frozen expansion. We'll get to see more info on that. We might see, an additional expansion because in the original concept art of that, they showed off Pride Rock and Galaxy's Edge and all that kind of stuff. So I don't think we're going to get all that. I think we're just going to get one of them. And I think that's pretty much it for Europe and China. And I'm thinking, are we missing one more? Are we missing any more? I think that's it.
Oh yeah, for China and Europe, yeah, you just need Tokyo. Man.
Palm Springs.
Palm Springs, the housing development. Tokyo, really
It's
quickly.
another- yeah.
I don't think we're going to get anything in Tokyo.
Yeah. Other
They-
than Tokyo.
They just opened up Fantasy Springs.
Yeah, it's kind of, I could see that too. There's nothing that like, no rumors I've heard, nothing I'm like, yeah.
The only thing that they will probably brush on are the things that they've already announced, like the new Space Mountain opening up in 2027 and the Wreck-It Ralph attraction,
Right.
which will be replacing Buzz Lightyear, which, going back to Disneyland really quick, our Disneyland,
Hopping back over.
I think if they're going to talk about Tomorrowland, they're going to talk about maybe Wreck-It Ralph replacing Buzz Lightyear Astro Blasters.
Oh, wow.
What are your thoughts on that?
Honestly, I'm not mad at it. Like,
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm on the fence because
I'm not too mad at it.
it's like we already have, some Buzz Lightyear
It's kind of
over
a
there in
crazy
the other
one.
park,
I
but
haven't really thought about it. I guess I have to think about it, but I know my instinct is I'm not mad at it.
I just don't know if I'm on the fence about it as well, just because I don't know if that represents Tomorrowland.
That's a good point.
yeah, how does it fit cohesively with whatever they're gonna do?
I mean, at this point, though, what is Tomorrowland?
That's kind of the thing.
Yeah.
It's
That's
like-
why I guess instinctually I'm like, I'm not too mad at it because Tomorrowland's like Star Wars. It's got a little bit of like,
But they never seem to do anything that's not cohesive with like a theme of
I mean, that's
either an area
true.
or a land. So I don't think they ever tend to put things just randomly in places like
right.
to throw a Wreck-It Ralph in there if it fits in with whatever they're doing. Yeah.
Maybe like the digitally thing. Like, I
Yeah,
don't know.
possibly.
It gives me Starcade vibes.
But see, I feel like that would fit more at Epcot.
No, you're right. No, you're right. You're right. But like, I was thinking Wreck-It Ralph, bring back the Starcade.
Yeah, there you go.
I'd be so excited about that.
Yeah. Well, before we move on to the home developments, just recapping with China and Europe. Yeah, Shanghai Disneyland, huge capital investment with maybe the expansion of the resort property, hotels, possible new theme park, expansion of the shopping district, and the rumored roller coaster. Hong Kong, maybe one new attraction there or a new show. Then in Europe, major expansion, major capital investment for Disneyland Paris proper, and then the Studios Park, which is now the Adventure World Park, finishing up, wrapping up that project, which is slated to be opening, I think, sometime late 25 or early 2026. I think that's it for the rest of the parks. But moving on to what, again, we were talking about earlier, the fluff of this 90-minute presentation,
Yeah.
talking about the homes that they're building. They just announced the residence, the Hyatt residence or whatever at the
Yeah.
Golden Oak at Walt Disney World with the low price of $5 million.
It's just
Super
easy.
affordable.
I mean, for
Yeah.
California, that's really nothing. But
Yeah.
yeah.
And then Cortino, I believe it's called, in Palm
Cotino.
Springs. Cotino
Cotino.
in Palm Springs.
Okay.
Which, have you guys seen that? Because I know you guys
No.
go to Palm Springs.
We do, but we haven't seen it.
We haven't really gone over there to look and see, the spot. I've only seen pictures online. So yeah.
Yeah, I think they're going to talk about that heavily as well, just to fill some time up.
They'll
and then-
also throw in the cruise lines. I feel like
Oh,
they're
yeah, the
just going
cruise lines, yep.
like bam, bam, bam. I feel like every day, and I am the most like non-cruiser, but I've noticed like they keep saying stuff about cruises.
Yeah, the cruise lines are, I think, the most popular segment in the parks and resorts division. Like,
For
besides
sure.
the theme parks,
Yeah.
the cruise lines are like right there making just as much
It's a
money.
cash cow for them, yeah.
Yep. So I think we're gonna see a lot of cruise line talk, which I'm just like, whatever, you know.
Yeah,
Like,
it's not nothing against it. Like, I know a lot of people like love it. A lot of theme park and especially Disney people love the cruises. For me, no, thank you.
yeah, I'm kind of the same way. I'd rather go to the destination versus like
Right,
cruising
right.
to the destination.
Yes.
I mean, would I try it one of these days? Maybe, but I don't know. I'd rather just again fly to the destination.
It's always interesting to hear what they're doing because they do extravagant things on these
Yeah.
boats nowadays.
Yeah.
So I enjoy hearing about it and seeing what's going on.
Me too.
I don't need to participate, but I like watching other people like, oh, look, they're having a good time. That's
yeah,
awesome.
it's
Yeah.
nice to see other people enjoying it and be happy about it. You know,
Yeah.
just because I would never do it, doesn't mean I don't like watching people be stoked about it and what they accomplish
It's cool
on
that
these
they
cruises.
have that, you know, as an
Yeah.
option.
It's a huge market. People love it.
And now they're doing a cruise to Tokyo.
Yep.
That was just announced.
Oriental Land Company
Yeah.
is teaming up and they're doing cruises now. So overall, I think that's what D23 is going to be. I think it's going to be a very big presentation filled with a lot of announcements. But the thing is, as we're wrapping this up, how much of these announcements are real?
Yeah, how much is going to happen? Last D23, they blue skied the heck out of us.
Oh, yeah.
And I
They
think
BS'd us.
They did, and it left a bad taste in a lot of our mouths.
They blue skied us.
Right? Like,
Yeah,
I
blue sky,
mean,
we
if
got
you
blue
go
skies.
through, that would be something I would love to dive into.
Yeah.
Is
I see
all
what you
the
did there.
things that they did and said, like, what did they announce? Like, all the blue sky BS, and what did they actually
Yep.
do, and how did it turn out? That I would love to dive into that.
Yeah, they have to be making some moves this year
For
because
sure.
there is competition, especially in Florida.
It's a big year.
Universal is coming in hot.
Yep. They're setting the
Competition's
bar.
hot. That's right.
Yeah,
Sure
I mean,
is.
what do you guys think of Epic Universe? Because this
Oh
is
my
actually a pretty
gosh.
good take for those. Because you guys are more geared towards the Disney side of
Yeah.
things versus when it comes to the theme park
Yes.
space. So,
Yeah,
what are
we're
your thoughts
not-
on
Or
Epic
Disneyland.
Universe?
We're
even.
Disneylanders more
Uh,
than anything.
But you're right. And so when we see what Universal's doing, it's caught our attention as well because I come from the Universal that kind of was born and raised with the Universal Monsters,
Yep.
with the original Tram Tour. So the fact that they're leaning into the Monsters thing for me is really cool. And just seeing what they're doing in the theme park space because of what you showed me, Dylan had brought us to Universal in Florida and showed
Oh
us
my
around.
gosh.
And so, it's very exciting and I can't wait to see it. you
Me
know?
too. I think like what they are doing, the fact that they're doing an entire park with lands, the fact that they took the horror thing, as we know, we talk about this all the time. We're not, like I said, we're not huge theme park people. We're more just Disneylanders that really like to go and we'll explore. We love to see stuff, but to see that they're taking the horror and
Expanding on it.
I mean, come on. And then the How to Train Your Dragon. I love that movie. I mean, like, I'm such a Disney girl, but that movie, that whole thing, and to the show with the dude.
See, and this is a perfect example of what's
Yeah.
happening in the community.
Yep.
People that are like really used to Disney are now
Yep.
starting to turn their eye to the competition.
We sure are.
And this is why Disney, if they really want to stay in the game, if they really want to convince the family from Montana or from wherever around the
Yeah.
world to
Yeah.
come back to Walt Disney World or to any of their other properties, they have to show us concrete information and details that they're working on these things right now and they're going to be opening up in the near term, not the long term.
They
Yeah.
also need to prove that they can execute it because a lot of stuff lately has not been executed great. I mean, from a child's perspective, my niece is 9 years old. I think when she was 8, we took her to Walt Disney World and we also took her to Volcano Bay. You would think she'd be chomping at the bit to go back to Walt Disney World. No, she talks about Volcano Bay.
So she
which
loved Volcano
She
Bay.
loved it. She talked about it the last day I saw her. So the point is, don't discount Universal. Like, they are giving the magic to kids a little bit better than Disney is right now, in my opinion.
Well, it's funny. Before we wrap this up, there is a marketing thing in Florida. When you go into when you fly into Florida and you're like kind of driving to the theme parks,
Yeah.
one of Universal's marketing campaigns is like the magic is real here.
Oh.
And like it's something along the lines of like, yeah, our magic is real. And
Shot across the bow.
yeah, they are, they're throwing the gauntlet at each other, and they've been doing it for years, so that's going to be fun. So I hope that D23 is great. Kenny and Spence also hope that D23 is great,
really
because yeah, we consume these parks. We go to Disneyland, we
Yes.
go to the other Disney parks. We want them to invest and bring us new experiences because we don't want it to become stale, or we don't want it to become a museum. So here's hoping. What do you think? Go ahead and comment down below. What are your thoughts on D23? Do you think they're going to talk about some cool stuff, or do you think it's just going to be another blue sky presentation, aka a BS presentation? If you enjoyed today's video, you can let me know by smashing the thumbs up button. And if you're new to the channel and you love these videos and all the in-park videos as well, well, you should consider subscribing, because I have brand new videos every single week that you won't want to miss out on. Also, be sure to check out Katie and Spencer's channel, Best Life and Beyond. They do a bunch of lifestyle vlogs. They go to Vegas all the time, Palm Springs, some really cool vlogs. They actually just posted some Vegas content recently, so be sure to check that out. But until the next video, I hope all of you have a beautiful day, morning, evening, whatever it is. And we'll see you next time in the parks. Bye.